Hey everybody, you got your old pal Jack Photon here. Today we're going to be digging up some buried treasures from the past. We're looking at Dragon Magazine number 76. Now I gone ahead and bound my own edition just because I like reading the print editions of stuff. One of the first things I always went to myself was really the back, but we'll do this in order. Definitely a letter from the editor here, Kim Mohan at the time. And if you think vitriol from today is something new, check out something here from Out on a Limb, which is letters to the editor. Dear editor, I enjoy reading your magazine and have come to expect high quality. However, with issue 74, my admiration was lost. The computer program was atrocious. In the first place. Second. Third. Last but by no means least, this program encompasses only basic D&D. I have written a program that is a little longer but encompasses all 14 classes of AD&D, etc. Now, Kim Mohan responds to all these himself, and he takes it very good-naturedly because that's the way it was back in the day. And they got a lot of letters about this computer program apparently they wrote. And keep in mind, back in August 1983, when they shared computer programs, this is on VIC-20s, Commodore 64s, TRS 80s, and even Apple IIs. So everybody had to write them differently, and they were written in text here that you had to go and manually type in your computer. So he addresses that in these first two paragraphs here, but then he says, many people took us to task for printing such a lousy character generation program for AD&D. Well, apparently the article was titled D&D, so that letter took him to task in the wrong possible way. Here's another one. Gray's reply, issue 75 of Dragon contained a caustic letter from John Clemens accusing me of creating information, including gross inaccuracies in my short review of his game. Wow. That one continues on to the next page and into 3 paragraphs. Then you get a couple here complaining about more ads in the magazine, and of course that's how they print the thing in the first place, is through sales and ads. So back in the day, this is close to the beginning of the Ecology series, and in this case we're taking a look at The Beholder from Ed Greenwood and Roger Moore. Speaking of Roger Moore, now here in this issue you got Leomund's tiny hut covering the NPC, the Deathmaster. I'm going to cover this one in its own video, so we'll take a look at it then, but this is a nice little class that blends some really cool magic user with a little bit of cleric in between with a whole lot of nasty in the middle. Ed Greenwood also had a 2-part series, The Nine Hells, so if you're going to do any adventuring there, I expect that you'll be able to use a lot of this no matter what edition or even game system you use for playing your games. It doesn't have to be D&D. You can always translate this stuff into your own versions of whatever game you play. It's definitely a very thorough series here, including not only additional leadership, command, and stuff like that, but also how magic items, cleric spells, magic user spells, psionics, and all sorts of other stuff work in the Nine Hells. And here you'd flip straight over it without looking because this page looks like an ad, but this is the very first Dragon Index. Nowadays the Dragon Index that I've seen online covers up to issue about 350 something. This is the very first one that covers issue 1 through 74. Character generation, rapid character generation, issue 26, page 37. What are the odds? Issue 39, page 39. Character traits and abilities. All the best of the Dragon Index right here for the very first time. Then, of course, the Dragon Magazine also covered other TSR games like Boot Hill, Gamma World, and Gangbusters as well. Here's another one you're going to want to be looking at, and that's sage advice. This is all, again, letters to the editor, but in a different sort of way, referring to the game system itself. Buried in all these questions here, there's some obvious ones where the answers are duh, yeah, duh. But check this one out here. Do constitution bonuses for monks, rangers, and first level half-ogre characters who all start with 2 hit dice apply to both hit dice as well as all hit dice earned after the first level? Yes. Next question. That means rangers with an 18 con have a +8 plus 2d8 to give them 10 to 24 hit points first level. A lot of folks were complaining back into the day that Cavaliers started with a D10 plus 3. Throw on an 18 con with that and you're looking at 17 hit points max. Barbarians with a D12, 16 hit points max. The Duelist NPC, 16 hit point max. And all of a sudden that first level monk is getting up to +4 hit points for a 16 con because they're not a fighter class, so they don't get the +3 or +4 bonuses. But all of a sudden for that monk, that's a +4 plus 2d4 to give them 6 to 12 hit points, and suddenly they aren't so quite weak at first level as compared to a magic user with a single d4 plus 2 for 3 to 6. Of course, Dragon Magazine also covered various books and other reviews. There's your gangbusters, for example. But really, the very first thing that I always personally turned to in Dragon Magazine was the very back. And that's not for the ads. It's not for Wormy. It's not for... It's right over here to find out what's new with Phil and Dixie. And in this case, they're going to ShamCon 5. I've seen electronic dice before. What's so special about these? Ask them. Hello. Hi. Phil Foglio, however you want to pronounce his last name. The guy is a genius and really great artwork. What's new is so much fun. Now, this particular issue and episode is not typical for the standard. It's just a lot of good collections about jokes. Phew, I just spent the whole weekend playing this great new game. I missed the rest of the con, but it was worth it. What are you talking about? Today is Friday. The con just started. What game were you playing? Time Traveler. Ha. Here's one for Dungeon Delver. Best paint job goes to Tom Kidd for his giant ogre. What's your secret, Tom? Underpainting. I use more than one layer of paint. Oh, and how many layers are there on giant ogre? 347. What? It started out as a halfling. And Dragon Mirth is usually good for a few chuckles as well, but these two particular jokes don't quite land so well in my book. But yeah, Dragon Magazine. We're going to take a look at that Deathmaster NPC in another video, and we'll catch up with you then.